There is more to say about Mark Robinson, who we now know will be the the Republican nominee for governor in North Carolina. But we also have Roy Cooper standing by.
We do indeed. I mean, is it too late to get Herschel Walker back in there? Because he might actually have a better chance. All right, Governor Cooper, let me introduce you. And I just want to start there, because there is a history of Republicans nominating Trump-endorsed candidates. You could go through them all: Herschel Walker, Blake Masters in Arizona, Adam Laxalt in Nevada, Dr. Oz Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania. All of them lost, and they all lost along the same formula of being too extreme for even Republican-leading independents, etc. Is the campaign already written? Have you guys already started cutting the commercials for this soon-to-be nominee and apparent Holocaust denier?
Well, Mark Robinson is the most extreme candidate that we've seen in North Carolina history. And remember, Jesse Helms came from North Carolina. I served as chair of the Democratic Governors Association in 2022, and Mark Robinson is the kind of candidate that MAGA has brought forward. I heard just before that the long list of things, there's a lot more, calling LGBTQ people filth, saying that he would shoot government officials with his assault weapon if they got too big for their britches, saying men should lead, not women. This is issue after issue where he shows the most extreme position. And we're about to nominate Josh Stein, who is our current Attorney General, who is stood up to Big Pharma, has the integrity and the grit to lead a closely divided state. We have to work in a bipartisan way in North Carolina to get things done, like expanding Medicaid, like North Carolina just did. And Josh Stein is the guy we're going to push hard. But you look at Trump and Robinson, it's double trouble at the top of the ticket in North Carolina. I think that's going to bring a lot of people out to vote. Reproductive freedom for women is going to be a strong issue in North Carolina this time. Health care, with Medicaid just expanding and hundreds of thousands of people getting health care. Donald Trump has just said he wants to rip it away. He wants to gut the Affordable Care Act. We have to be really careful about that, because this is one of the few promises that he actually tried to keep when he was president. The Affordable Care Act was in significant danger then, and he will do it again.
And we know that one of the races that's also happening is the race to potentially replace the former Democrat who switched. You know, you've got a lot of intrigue around abortion, obviously, and there is now a supermajority in your state that is poised to essentially rob women of their reproductive rights. Do you think that is going to be the primary issue in November, or at least a primary issue?
Yeah, reproductive freedom will be on the ballot in North Carolina in November. There is a one-vote supermajority in the legislature. They've already passed a 12-week abortion ban. Republican leaders have said they are coming back for more. People are going to get energized in North Carolina. You've got Donald Trump, who goes around bragging that he overturned Roe v. Wade with his 3 appointments to the Supreme Court, and this is one of the few times he's told the truth. That's the truth. And then we have Mark Robinson, who is against abortion under any circumstances with no exceptions. We know that we're going to work to get a Democratic governor elected. We believe we can win this state for Joe Biden. He has targeted North Carolina. This was his closest loss last time. We're the 3rd fastest growing state. Our blue cities are getting bluer. We believe we can win this race for Biden. And with this undercurrent, we're going to be working very hard to break the supermajority in the legislature so that a future Governor Stein's vetoes can be upheld, and we can stay out of these culture wars and protect women's reproductive freedom and protect our public schools and continue to fight climate change and do the things that we know the people of North Carolina want to do. Mark Robinson does not reflect North Carolina values, and we're going to show that in November.
Really quickly, because I am a bit obsessed with North Carolina. In 2004, this was one of the 3 states that Democrats who were sort of behind the scenes or were thinking could be a flip state. It is a state that Barack Obama did win by 14,000 votes in 2008. He only lost it by about 90,000 votes in 2012. And I went through a deep dive today on these races. Your state loves your governor's races, and actually the turnout in your two re-elects was higher than the turnout for either of those two presidential elections that I just discussed. 2.8 million people voted for you in your re-elect, and that's higher than voted in the presidential races. But there have been also some narrow losses. This is a narrow state. Sherry Beasley, who was the former leader of your Supreme Court, the former Chief Justice of your Supreme Court, she lost narrowly, 47.3% to Ted Budd, a very extremist anti-abortion candidate who got 50.5%. So this is a very narrow state. How do you then sort of, what is the strategy to make sure that it doesn't go that way again? Because Ted Budd is also an anti-abortion candidate. You have seen that kind of candidate be able to slip through. So what's the strategy against Mark Robinson? Is it just literally running ads, letting him talk, and letting him say his extremist things? Because it is a state that could flip either way.
Well, I'm very proud that I appointed Sherry Beasley as the first black woman Chief Justice of our state Supreme Court. And she only lost that race by about 400 and some votes in 2020, one of the saddest losses that I have seen. But the National Party did not support her in 2022 when she ran. And there was a difference of many millions of dollars in what Ted Budd and the groups that supported him spent in this race and what she spent. That's why it's so critical that the Biden campaign target North Carolina. We can win this state for him, and we can win with our slate of statewide Democratic candidates as well. And we've got to get them energized. This is going to be a choice here. And I think people are slowly wrapping their minds around the fact that this is going to be a Trump-Biden rematch. I think tonight's primaries, people will begin to come to that realization. And when they do, they're going to have a choice of a Joe Biden who wakes up every morning thinking about the American people and a Donald Trump who wakes up every morning thinking about himself. This will be a stark choice. Democracy will be on the ballot. Women's reproductive freedom will be on the ballot. And I believe the American people will respond positively to Joe Biden's accomplishments, which have been extraordinary. When you look at this Congress and how they have a hard time doing anything, Joe Biden did more his first 2 years than most presidents could hope to do in 2 terms. I was in a rural county announcing water infrastructure investments. People coming up to me with tears running down their cheeks because they didn't have to boil water anymore. Talking to people who are actually getting their homes connected to high-speed internet who didn't have a chance to do that before. These are investments that the Biden administration has brought about, generational investments. We need to work hard to tell this story during the next few months. And the contrast is going to be extraordinary.
Rachel.
Governor Cooper, this is Rachel Maddow here. I'm really grateful to have you here with us tonight, especially with this timing and so much drama around what's happening in your state. I just wanted to ask, in keeping with what you were just describing there, if we gave you a magic wand right now and you could program the Biden-Harris campaign between now and November to try to win North Carolina the way that you're describing, with Mark Robinson as this very extremist, very outre Republican nominee for governor in a very high-profile governor's race, with the likely Democratic nominee, Josh Stein, who you feel so solid about North Carolina, who has such a good track record in North Carolina, with the kinds of advantages that you think Biden and Harris can bring to the people of North Carolina to put it back in the blue column. How would you program their campaign? What issues would you structure their ads around and their campaign appearances around to give them the best shot to win North Carolina?
Well, if we can get people to the polls, we win. This is going to be a strong turnout election, and we have to show the stark differences between these candidates. The people in North Carolina, the majority of them support a woman's right to choose. Yet Donald Trump, Mark Robinson, and the Republicans want to take that away. The people of North Carolina strongly support Medicaid expansion and getting people health care. Donald Trump, Mark Robinson, who opposed Medicaid expansion, Republicans, they want to take that away. These are the issues that matter to everyday people at the kitchen table. And we have to make people realize that they do have a stake in this. I understand how people can be turned off by politics right now. The vitriol out there is so rampant. But at the same time, we need to let them know that there has never been a wider choice here, a more different choice than they have right now. These are polar opposite candidates. Republicans have been taken over by MAGA. There are a lot of Republicans out there, a lot of unaffiliated, who are voting for Nikki Haley today, who don't want to elect Donald Trump. Joe Biden's got to go and get those people, as many of them as he can, to show them that, yeah, he can bring us forward. You know, he can work to make sure that we have a better future for the American people. That's what we need to do.
North Carolina's Democratic Governor Roy Cooper. Sir, thank you so much for your time tonight. Fascinating results out of your state, and we feel grateful to have you with us. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.